Howdy, folks. This is Dylan Holt back for another special pigskin interview. That's what I'm going to call it. I just decided to hear right on the fly. A few weeks ago, whatever it was, I don't know. Time isn't real. I've talked about that before. We talked to Trey Hornbuckle, who played defensive line at Duke. I was high school teammates with him. It was a great conversation. I'm really excited to welcome another guy who I've become friends with in the past few years. Plays at a different level of football, but plays just as well as Trey, if not better. This guy is an awesome player. He's done a lot of really, really great things in his career at Murray State University. He plays quarterback for my alma mater, plays quarterback for my current grad school, the Murray State Racer quarterback, Preston Rice. How you doing, Preston?
Hey, fellas. It's good to be on here.
It's great to have you. I'm really excited to talk some pigskin, like I said. And you've got a big game coming up this weekend, but you also had a big game last week. You guys opened up the season against Mississippi Valley State, a school that people probably know for a different Rice that played football there. He's pretty good, ended up in San Francisco. You had a huge performance. You ended up winning OVC Player of the Week, scoring 4 rushing touchdowns, which maybe someone listening to this, they're like, quarterback, 4 rushing touchdowns. Whoa. Maybe Tim Tebow. That doesn't happen much anymore. Was that kind of the game plan, or was that an improvisation? What was kind of the mindset there with 4 rushing touchdowns rather than maybe 4 passing?
Well, our offense, we're pretty based around running the football, kind of ground and pound, let the defense do work. But with, our reads and stuff like that, the quarterback's a big part of the run game. So, I kept a couple off, some reads off the DN, and then a couple times, the running backs had big runs, or we hit a couple big pass plays and got us close and couldn't quite get it in until 3rd or 4th down, and then end up just, calling my name and then pounding it in. So it was a mixture of the game plan. It's just kind of who we are, though.
Oh, for sure. I know. Racer fans like myself, we really got used to that kind of identity from this team last spring when you guys played that special spring season that I don't think anyone will ever forget, because it was something like we've never seen, because we got spring football. When people think of spring football, it's like a spring game, the blue and gold game or the orange and white game in Knoxville. It's not actual football that matters. And the fact that we got football that matters that was really, really good was something special. You guys went 5-2, your top 25 ranking. And in my opinion, it was really a breakout season for you, racking up over 1,000 passing yards, almost 300 rushing yards, and 15 total touchdowns. And to throw on there, that was your first season under new head coach Dean Hood, which he's not the new head coach anymore. And you had to deal with all the wacky COVID stuff. How did you guys manage to make everything just work and when basically everything was stacked against you?
Well, we kind of felt like the year before with Coach Stewart and the old staff that we were pretty close to that point. And then we returned 10 out of 11 starters coming back. So we played a lot of football together. And, Coach Hood kind of brings a mentality of, toughness and finishing. And, I figured, we kind of figured out how to win going along. After the first one, things just kind of kept on going for us. The momentum hit us, and then we just kind of took off from there. We got to finish it. We were right there at it. Those last 2 games were tough, but it made us hungry for going into this season, and believe we have big things to come.
Oh, for sure. And I think a lot of people expect that. And if you look at the preseason stuff, which I know you might say you didn't, but it's hard not to see that stuff. People took notice of that success you guys had. But before we get into that, what's it like turning around so quickly? Because you just got done playing not that long ago, and here you are opening another season with not all that much rest.
Yeah, we were pretty lucky. We had a couple bumps and bruises, but we didn't really have a lot of serious injuries that were going to keep guys out for an extended amount of time. So that was kind of, one of the advantages we had coming into this season. And then, bouncing back, we got the month of June off, then came back and started working out in July. And, I think people had a bitter taste in their mouth after those last 2 games, and were ready to get back at it because, we know how much we have to offer, and now we know the standard and what we expect. So we were ready to get here, and I feel like we're really mentally focused going forward.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think this last spring season with Coach Hood and you and the whole team really just making statements every Saturday, it felt like. And even the two losses at the end of the season to Austin P and Jacksonville State, they weren't bad losses. You guys were in it till the end. The Austin P was a heartbreaker. Jacksonville, there were things that just went wrong at the wrong times. And it really, I mean, you can see it with the preseason stuff at the OVC media days. People put respect on the Murray State Racers' names. People expect you guys to be able to win this conference and make noise. And people are expecting it from both the Racers and you. And that's maybe a pressure we haven't seen. Maybe we've seen on the basketball team on campus, but not really the football team. What is that? Does that pressure get to you, or are you just going out there and playing football?
I'll tell you what I tell everyone else. If preseason rankings mattered, then we wouldn't go out there and play the games. So, we're just going to play our ball and our standard. If we play racer football and what our standard is and what we expect, we believe we'll be in every game and, mostly win every game too.
Oh yeah. I fully stand behind that. And I remember when I got on campus back in 2015, it wasn't the greatest brand of football maybe being played on the God's green earth, but it just every year since then the team's real. I'm not on the team, never happened, but I feel like I know a lot of you guys so well that I feel like I've been a part of the process almost. You guys have put in so much work and just got better and better and better, and I think it really started to show back in. It would have been 2018, I think, when Drew Anderson was the quarterback. He transferred in from Buffalo. I really think there was a huge leap taken that year because Drew, I don't know, just watching from afar, he almost seemed like he carried himself as like a veteran and a pro. And he ended up turning into a pro, playing for the Cardinals in the preseason and having pro opportunities now. What was it like sharing a locker room and a quarterback room with Drew? Because I know that quarterback room was tight with you and Drew and Bognar.
Yeah. Drew, he was special, man. I mean, getting to be around him, you would see things every day that, see throws every day. You'd be like, wow, that's impressive. Just casually too, he was effortless, just a cool, calm guy. He was great to learn from. And then, Bognar in there, he's GA at Troy, he's a great football mind. And, he's probably one of my best friends. And, just talking to him every day, bouncing ideas, talking ball back and forth, that's a huge advantage that not a lot of people have. And, we had him, Drew, and Schuler Bentley, who's a GA at Coastal Carolina. So, I mean, there was a lot of football knowledge in one room. And Coach Stewart and Coach Coleman, I mean, they're quarterback gurus too. I mean, everywhere they've been, their quarterbacks put up numbers and they have that great system. And, it was a lot of fun to be around, be there each and every day. And we even had Michael Hires, who is, JUCO player of the year last year, won a national championship at Northeast. It was competitive, but it was fun. We kept it light most of the time, but when it was time to work, we worked, and it was a great experience for all of us.
For sure. And I think as someone on the outside who got to talk with you and Bognar and Michael Ayers and Drew a little bit, I knew Drew a little bit, got to talk to him every once in a while. You really got the chemistry just talking to you guys because you were always all together. You're always talking football no matter what. Bognar could be sitting in an 8 a.m. class in Wilson Hall, and he's going to be talking football. And you can see it now, him being a GA at Troy, it just makes so much sense. That from the time I met Bognar, he said he was going to coach football, and it looks like he's going to do it, and I have full faith he's going to be really good at it.
He's going to be really, really good at it.
I agree.
I can't wait to see where he goes. I'm excited.
Same. I'm very excited to see what Bognar does. So we talked about the QB room, but going to a school like Murray, I think Murray's so special because it's the way I've always described it to people is it's a very small school that wants to be an SEC school because it might not have all the people in the world or anything. We're not going to sell 100,000 tickets for a football game, but people really do care. They show up most of the time, hopefully. and they want to have fun. They want to cheer on winning sports teams.
Yep.
And I think something that maybe people don't realize is we've had NFL players in Murray, Kentucky. Quincy Williams plays for the New York Jets, and then obviously you shared a campus. We shared a campus with NBA superstar Ja Morant. What's it like? Maybe just knowing that maybe when you came to Murray State, you maybe didn't expect that you would share a campus with Ja Morant or a locker room with Quincy Williams. Because me personally, when I signed my papers to be a student, I didn't expect that at all. So I don't know. I want your perspective on that.
My perspective, Murray, Kentucky's a cult. It's one I can go anywhere, and someone from Murray, Kentucky, if you have on the colors, they're gonna know where he is, or know someone there. It's an awesome experience. I mean, Quincy too, sharing a locker room with him, it was unique, just because kind of like Drew, you saw stuff every day that you're just like, wow. Like when I saw him play, he ran sideline to sideline better than anyone I've ever played with or saw in person play. Right there on field level, it was insane. He's a freak of nature, I'll say that. And then Ja, I mean, Jaw's Jaw.
Yep.
yeah. I don't know. There's really not much explained on that one. Rookie of the year, and then when he was here, our basketball team was at the top, number one. We beat Marquette in the first round.
Beat Marquette, yep. And then we had to face that really good Florida State team, which we don't talk about that one, but we beat Marquette, yeah.
And I think, what do you have, 40 that game?
I had the triple-double. I think it was 28. I can't remember exactly. Just 28 points, against Marquette.
Just 28 in the triple-double.
Yeah, just 28, yeah.
He was off that night, I guess.
Yeah, off the night of the triple-double, yeah. I'll never forget that OVC championship in Evansville, cheering on Ja Morant and the Racers. It was me, you, and Bognar just losing our minds. And watching you on Saturdays, I'm just like, wow, I can't believe that. Looking back, we were just a couple of years ago rooting on the Racers to win OVC championships, and now you're hopefully leading the Racers to OVC championships. It's really, really neat. Moving on from Murray stuff, you're getting ready for a pretty big game this weekend.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting. It's against the top 10 team in the Cincinnati Bearcats, and maybe some smaller schools maybe don't have that kind of experience against the top 10 team, but you guys do. Some of you guys, anyways, you do. As a starter, you got to play against number 3 Georgia in Athens when Jake Fromm was the starting quarterback. What is that like? Because as just a normal human being who is not a D1 athlete, I cannot even fathom playing Georgia.
I got a pretty good story on the way to the stadium on that one. Then I'll get into that one. So we're going down the road in our charter buses, and I look out to the side, and all the Georgia fans are lined up along the sidewalk. Well, they think it's the Bulldogs showing up to the stadium. So I see hand clapping, cheering, and then about halfway through, a lot of cuss words going out their mouths. So that was just kind of my first experience of an SEC atmosphere and what it's like going and playing somewhere like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. The SEC atmospheres are something else, man. I remember first time I ever went to an SEC stadium. I think I was like 9 or 10 years old, and my dad told me,
"You're a big Balls fan, aren't you?"
I absolutely love my Tennessee Volunteers. And I went to Neyland Stadium. I was 8, 9, 10 years old. I remember my dad told me, "Do not tell your mother anything you hear." I was like, "Okay." So that SEC stadiums, they're a wild place, no doubt about it. What was it like playing between the hedges, as they say, down in Athens?
It's a once in a lifetime experience. That's what I keep telling these guys right now. The guys that really didn't do it, is there's nothing like getting to play a game in front of 50,000 people. I mean, you don't get that a lot in your life, and not many people do. And when we were down there, we got to play in front of 96,000. So I mean, when you got that many, I don't know how much 40,000 makes a difference when they're all rowdy, but just enjoy it and embrace it, man, because that don't come around too often. I mean, it's something you can tell your grandkids, because stuff like that, man, it's special to me, and like to go out there and put on a good performance, play to the best of our ability, man, and see what happens.
I think something special that you've kind of got in your back pocket when you've played in these big games, and it happened in Lexington against UK and in Athens against Georgia. You've made big plays, which small team quarterbacks. I'm going to stop saying that. FCS teams, when they go into these Power 5 schools and they've got to play these games, or it's David versus Goliath, a lot of them, it seems like they just get on their back and they're just like, well, we're here to collect a paycheck almost. Yeah. But I mean, you came in the fourth quarter against Kentucky and you put on a show. Because I remember I was sitting on the couch in Murray, Kentucky, watching that game, and I had never seen Preston Rice play quarterback. That's when Drew was the starter, and you came in and you made a pass that I watched yesterday on YouTube, and it still doesn't make sense. I don't know how you didn't get sacked. You like evaded the rusher. You turned around. It was almost like a Menzel-like play. It was like Johnny Football in a Murray State uniform. And you rolled out, and I can't remember the receiver you hit, but he also made it was cut.
It was cut.
That makes sense. He made a really, really good catch. And then it was – I don't know if it was the next play, but it was a few plays later. You broke off that run. Yeah. I was like, oh, my God, this guy, he's going to do something. And then the next year, Georgia, you made that long pass. I think it was to Daquan.
Daquan Green. He's no longer with us.
Yeah. Made that long – it was a 60-yard touchdown pass to Daquan Green in Athens. And it tied the game at 7-7.
Yeah.
I mean, that was something else. What's it like making plays in front of, like you said, these huge crowds? The Kentucky crowd at that time, most of them had gone home. It was the game maybe wasn't as competitive as we wished. But that Georgia, that was first quarter and tied the game 7-7. What's that like on those huge stages?
Like you kind of said, I mean, a lot of teams that go in there, kind of want to lay down. I mean, my mentality is totally different. We don't have anything to lose, man. I mean,
nope.
If I go out there and, have a bad game, no one's going to care. So I might as well just go have fun and try to make plays and, see what happens. Because, I mean, if you're not trying to make plays in those games and try to just wait for something to happen, it's not going to happen for you. Too much talent's on the field. So you gotta kind of take charge and go try to make a play yourself. And, luckily I did that a couple times, but hopefully, I'll make a little more this week and, we can be competitive.
Oh, 1,000%. I think that mentality for anyone that watched the Kentucky game, the Murray State Kentucky game a couple years ago, or the Murray State Georgia game a couple years ago, they saw that. They 1,000% saw you play quarterback, and they're like, that guy came here to make a play. Whether it's one play or all the plays, he came here to do that, and it just comes off the screen watching, or when you're in attendance watching the Racers play on Saturdays. You mentioned this Saturday. You guys take on Cincinnati, like I said, top 10 team, a team that was this close to beating those Georgia Bulldogs I was talking about last year in a bowl game. Have you seen how much film have you watched? How familiar are you with what they did last week against Miami, Ohio, which was really impressive, I have to say.
Yeah, they're a good team, man. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it or say anything else. I mean, they got 2, I believe, projected first-round draft picks on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they're a good football team. There's a reason they're top 10 in the nation, man. And there's a reason they went to the Peach Bowl last year and lost by a field goal. It's to a very good Georgia team that kind of found their quarterback at that time coming off the injury, JT Daniels, and so, I mean, they're a good team, but, we're a good team too. So, we got to come in there with that mentality. So.
Yep. I 1,000% agree. I think this is a really, really great Cincinnati team. And me and Dylan have talked about it as we've kind of previewed college football this summer. And a guy that always comes up when you talk about Cincinnati is their quarterback, Desmond Ritter. How familiar are you with Desmond, and what do you kind of expect to see out of him, or what do you guys expect to see out of him this Saturday?
I mean, there's a reason he's, in the conversation for a Heisman Trophy, man. And he big plays. He's consistent, and he's what you want in the quarterback. He's a good player, and it'd be fun going out there and competing against him on Saturday.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into what I wanted to ask next. As a quarterback yourself, when you see a guy on the other sideline, you've been in this situation where Jake Fromm was on the other sideline, who's now he finds himself as an NFL free agent, but played for the Buffalo Bills last year.
Yeah.
You see another quarterback on that sideline who is a Heisman hopeful, who's a projected first-round pick more than likely. Does that get you fired up? You're like, man, I have a chance to go out and there's going to be a spotlight on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, does that fire you up and get you excited?
I mean, playing against someone like that, like Fromm, I mean, those are electric guys, and there's a reason that Fromm was drafted and Desmond's going to be drafted. It brings out the best in you as a competitor. I mean, if you love to compete and love ball, you love moments like this, to be able to go out there and, see how good you are. I mean, you're playing the best. You want to compare yourself to the best. You don't want to, compare yourself to, someone that can't complete a pass. You want to go out there against someone that does it and does it at an extremely high level like those guys do.
And you're definitely going to have that opportunity on Saturday. Yep. With it kind of seems like you're in this David versus Goliath situation where it's like you guys are a very good team, but the way people talk about it is Cincinnati's on another level. And that's got to put a chip on your shoulder. And to add on to that, in this first week of college football, we've seen a lot of I'm not going to say a lot. We've seen a few FCS schools go in to these Power 5 teams stadiums, and a few have won, and a lot of them have put on really, really competitive games. Yeah. Does that kind of, I don't know if that helps your psyche, or does that, do you guys see that and you're like, hey, they did it. East Tennessee went into Vanderbilt and they dominated. Montana went up to Washington. Washington's supposed to be good. Vanderbilt, God love them, they're not going to be that good this year in East Tennessee. So Washington, a lot of people think is going to be good, and Montana was like, we're the Grizzlies. We're taking care of business. Yeah. Does that kind of fire you guys up, seeing that?
Yeah, for sure it does. I mean, I think you're starting to see that the difference in FCS and FBS, the gap's kind of closing, especially with the G5 schools and FCS and all that. I think that gap's kind of closing a little bit. And I think people starting to realize that. And I feel like all the FCS players have confidence now and feel like, why not us? Why can't we do the same thing that, Montana did or East Tennessee State did? Just figuring out just how good you actually are instead of coming in there with that mentality that, all right, let's collect the check and get on the bus,
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's when you look at a lot of these FCS teams that are good, like Montana's a very good team. East Tennessee's coming off a good year. Missouri State played really competitive last weekend. All these teams have something in common. They've got guys that transferred. They've got guys that went under the radar like you did. You went under the radar in high school and ended up in Murray State when maybe some people should have paid more attention to you. And I think that's something that stands out. And I agree with you. I think the competition is becoming more and more even, and it's getting exciting because we've seen what North Dakota State's done.
Oh yeah.
And it's exciting to see what's going to happen in years to come. I'm going to, at this time, well, maybe not. Dylan's running off. I was going to let Dylan ask you some questions. Dylan, you back? You want to throw some questions Preston's way?
Yeah, sorry. I was just trying to make sure my dog wasn't barking right as I was getting my questions in. But yeah, Dylan handled a bunch of my questions already, but I think I've a couple things I wanted to ask you. I find every college athlete's recruiting story fascinating. So what was your story like? What was it like being recruited to Murray State?
I wasn't much recruited coming out of high school, man. Not gonna lie to you. I went to Wayne County, Tennessee, which is it's a 1A school in the middle of nowhere in southern Tennessee. So I didn't really get too many looks coming out. I actually have a unique one because I graduated high school early. Murray State called me in the summer, kind of wanted me to do some summer classes in case I wanted to, if I, just to give me the opportunity to do that. To leave school early. They called me. I did it. Well, I didn't hear from him for 4 months after that, and didn't hear from anyone else for 4 months after that. I think I had a couple other OVC schools, the team on the border that we don't really mention their name. So they were kind of interested, but went another way. And then Tennessee Martin was kind of interested, went another way. But Coach Stewart finally, after the season, I was at an All-Star game in Cookeville, Tennessee. He called my dad, told my dad he was going to offer me. Then he told me, I committed. I think 3 days later. I didn't really care if it was D1 and football was being played. I was ready to go. I didn't mind much. And then so about 4 or 5 days later, I committed, and then a month later, I was sleeping in Richmond dorms. So it all happened pretty fast.
That's awesome. I always love those stories, and I come from a place where players don't get many looks either, so I totally understand that story, and I love it either way. You guys said you have high expectations for this team. Obviously, you had a great spring season. For someone outside looking in, maybe haven't seen you guys play before, can you just describe like the identity of your team and what you think the outlook of your season is going to look like because of that identity?
Oh, I believe we're tough, man. We're a tough team. We're going to fight till there's zeros on the clock. I mean, you can ask anyone we play. That's how we play. We're gritty. We've kind of changed our identity from a couple years ago to now kind of a ground and pound. Get this and just wear you out until the end, and then we want to be close at the end, and then we feel like we have the playmakers to finish the game if need be. If it's still close or we're down, we feel like we can finish.
Great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing a couple games this year. Dylan got all of my questions out of the way, so I'll throw it back to Dylan to wrap it up.
I've got a few more questions, Preston, if that's all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
These are going to be a little more fun because they're off the
right.
dome, I'll be honest. Okay, so I was thinking, because Dylan doesn't know a whole lot about Murray State football, which is fine. That we're on the come up, as I like to say. We're gonna hopefully be North Dakota State style in a couple years. But I mean, more people know about our basketball program because of guys like Isaiah Cannon, guys like that. But I think our football program has more fun traditions.
Yeah.
And I think you would probably agree with that. We've got the better maybe history in basketball because we've been really, really good at basketball.
Yeah.
But in football, I mean, there's not another school in the country that after they score a touchdown, a live horse and jockey runs around the track. I mean, I guess I don't really know if this is a question, but I don't know how to word this as a question. I'm just trying to get across the specialness of Murray State football that maybe, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't have that luster that me and you see that others. What do you think? What sets Murray State football apart maybe is what I'm asking.
Oh man, the horse is awesome. I mean, like that, and then you got the just one humongous side stadium, and then you got Cracker Barrel overlooking the other side. So it's just unique, man. There's no other place in the world or the football world where you're gonna see that. And I'm on the inside of it, so I get to see the day to day, the grind. We might not have the nicest things, but we have each other, and that's kind of the mentality you have when you're on this team, and it's one that brings you closer, and an experience I wouldn't trade for anything.
Oh, I love to hear that. I love to see kind of the transformation of Murray State football from like the time I got in college when KD Humphries was quarterback and he was awesome to now with you at quarterback, and kind of seeing kind of the same mentality, because KD, I became friends with KD when he was quarterback, and the mentality was the football team was boys. They was ride or die, and I respected that because I played football in high school, and I was like, that's how it is. I love it, and it's still that way, and it's a special chemistry in the locker room, and you absolutely love to see it. We talked about this last week because we were talking about like the turnover chain and stuff
Yeah.
at Miami. Do you guys still have the saddle on the sideline?
No, that kind of went away. That was kind of Coach Stewart's thing. That kind of left when he did. So it's we don't have many of the what do you call them?
Maybe gimmicks.
The gimmicks, like, it's Coach Hood's kind of more old school. Do your job, and a win is your reward, man.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But Miami's got the chain. Murray State's got Racer 1. So maybe it's a fair trade-off.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think that's a fair trade-off. And it looks like we might have a little bit of a better season than the Canes. But they went against Alabama, so who knows? That's a hard
They did have to go against Saban.
Yeah, that's a little bit different than Mississippi Valley State. I have no doubt they're going to be good, but a little bit different.
Nick Saban and the boys.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I will say I'm happy we're headed north to Cincinnati this weekend and not down to Tuscaloosa. That'd be a little different. But what I'm gonna leave with, I guess, unless I think of something while you're answering this.
Yeah.
You're a Tennessee native.
Yep.
And there's a pro team in Nashville that starts play next Sunday.
Oh yeah.
How excited are you? Because Dylan knows since we've started this show, I have been almost unbearable, and they haven't touched the field. So I just want to hear kind of your thoughts about the good old Tennessee Titans.
Oh, I haven't won in the Super Bowl, man. Are you kidding me?
Same. Last week, he asked me who's winning the Super Bowl. Tennessee Titans.
I got them and the Tampa Bay Bucks. So this is on record.
That's exactly what I predicted.
We're gonna take down Tom Brady
again
in the Super Bowl.
We took him down to New England and end him in the Super Bowl. I love it.
So I mean, Julio, AJ, and then you got Derrick Henry. Only thing I'm worried about is that defense, man. But preseason, we look good. It is the preseason, but I can't wait. I'm like a kid before Christmas right now, waiting for Sunday.
I'm unbelievably excited to be in Cincinnati for this game, watch you and Desmond Ritter duel, then have a fun day in Cincinnati after that, celebrate a Racer win. Wake up, go to maybe a Dave & Buster's or something in Cincinnati and watch the Titans play the Cardinals. Dylan, do you have anything?
Hopefully they don't rip my heart out again.
No, surely not. I think it'll be a really good game. And the fun thing is, the Titans, Ryan Tannehill, you're kind of like a college version of Tannehill. I kind of love it because you drop back and you're like, well, he's a quarterback. You might not expect Preston Rice to be the most athletic guy in the world when you watch him, but then you take off and it's like, all right, this guy's got wheels. And Tannehill, he's become Tanna Wheels. So you kind of got the college vibe of Tannehill going. I love it.
Like I said, I'm excited, but I have my guard up just because of the past, and they've ripped my heart out before. So I'm not doing it. I got my high hopes. They're my Super Bowl champs, even though I pick them every year. But you know, this year we have a legitimate shot. So we'll see. Hopefully it comes true. I'd love to be on Broadway after we win.
I hope I'm on Broadway with you in February when we win. I am very, very excited for the Titans season. I'm very excited for the rest of the Murray State season. I'm very, very excited for this Saturday to be in Cincinnati to watch you. I don't know where my tickets are. They'll be bought sometime in the next few days, but I'll be there. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch you and Desmond Ritter. I say Spencer Rattler every time. He's a different cat. They're both Heisman favorites.
Hey, what about that Tulane team though down there?
Oh, what do you think about the Tulane team?
They were impressive, man.
They sure were.
That was a good team. I think they played with a little chip on their shoulder after that. After that hurricane, I'd like to see what would happen if that was played at New Orleans, or it was originally supposed to play.
It might have been a different story.
Yeah.
So the Tulane quarterback, he impressed me. He played a brand of football that may be kind of similar to you. Would you agree with that?
He was tough. Man.
Yeah, he was scrappy.
Man, he was tough.
It was really impressive. And they were a yard away from maybe doing something really special. That game was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was an awesome game. That was awesome. And then last night, you got Milton. I was so excited for him, man. I know he's worked his tail off to get back even to walk, man. And then now he's out there playing against the Fighting Irish, man.
And the fourth quarter coming in, and it looked like he was going to save the day, but came up a little short. I had a lot of QB magic in the last week. Hopefully we can get a little to carry over in the next weekend. You never know what can happen. It's going to be a lot of fun. Preston,
bring your horseshoe for us on Saturday.
Oh, don't worry. I'll have a horseshoe. I'll have both my shoes up in the stand. I absolutely cannot wait. That's a great tradition that Brendan Bognar started in Evansville, Indiana, at the OVC championship.
Yeah,
absolutely great tradition.
Let's keep it PG on here now.
Oh yeah, yep. We won't talk about what happened after the shoes went up.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Preston, for joining us. This was a blast. I really, really appreciate it. I look forward to this weekend. I look forward to the season and everything else that comes in between and after.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all having me, man.
Yeah, it was awesome meeting you, Preston. Good luck for the rest of your season.
Hey, nice to meet you, too.
Yeah. See you on Saturday.
See you, fellas.
See ya.